And it's all over, but the big guy signing as Kevin McCarthy's debt surrender passes the Senate, garnering just 1/3 of Republican votes and an impressive 2/3 of Democrat senators. The rule of thumb in life is if your deal is really popular with the other guys, but your own guys hate it, you probably gave away too much. In fact, Kevin's deal was so popular with Democrats, perhaps he should switch parties next time. Seeing all the establishment Republican talking heads selling this turd sandwich on the cable circuit these past couple days has shown the stark divide between Republicans who serve the D.C. Beltway and those who serve America. This is true of both parties, of course. Democrats talk a big game about helping the poor and marginalized, and then the first thing they do when they actually get power is turn the city or state into a dystopian hellscape. Detroit voters, for example, have been dutifully electing Democrats who claim to passionately fight for the poor. They've been doing that for going on 61 years, during which their city went from a shining beacon to the world. In 1962, Detroit was a beautiful city that was going places, basically what Dubai or Singapore is today. And of course, today it is a bleak wasteland. So 61 years of Democrats who allegedly fight obsessively for the little guy, the forgotten man, the poor and marginalized who just need that first rung on the ladder. And what's the reality? A government strip mine where the schools don't teach, the police aren't allowed to stop crime. In fact, for over a decade now, one of the main functions of the Detroit city government is knocking down abandoned homes. 15,000 so far, with 22,000 to go. That is a government that has completely given up. It has given up trying to revitalize, to make the city livable so people come back. Instead, it just demolishes itself like a snake eating its own tail. And then, of course, there are the schools. There can be fewer beloved groups in America than poor children. Everybody wants to help them, especially Democrats, if we believe their rhetoric. The reality? A few months ago, Baltimore confessed that just 7% of its students were proficient in math, with fully 23 schools that had precisely 0 students who were proficient in math, including 10 high schools. Another 20 schools had 1 single student who could do math. Detroit is even worse, with just 4% proficient in math and just 5% who can even read proficiently. And they do this with plenty of money. Baltimore spends $21,000 per student to fail to educate them, 30% more than the rest of America. Even Detroit spends $15,500 per student, which is within 3% of the national average, on top of aid from the state of Michigan. So what is the solution? Take as much power as possible away from the government and give it back to the people. Defund them where possible. Kevin McCarthy just threw away a golden opportunity. Replace them where possible, especially in education, so parents can choose schools that actually educate. And for the rest, Americans have to wake up and demand more. It is not normal to have collapsing cities and dying towns in one of the richest countries in the world. We didn't have those things in the 1950s when our GDP was much lower. But until American voters do wake up and actually hold politicians accountable of both parties, it will continue. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.